In today's video, we're going to be breaking down the major differences between Ayrshare and PostPulse, giving you a good look at what they're offering and what we're offering that's better. But first, let's look at what we both have in common. PostPulse and Ayrshare both allow users to connect their social media channels to our platform. PostPulse supports 9 platforms, whilst Ayrshare supports 13 platforms. We both offer white label OAuth features, and we both offer third-party integrations for webhooks, MCPs, and REST APIs. But that's about where the similarities end. Once you take a closer look, you'll find that there's a lot of differences in our offerings, and these differences are worth exploring. And we'll start with platform audits. Ayrshare requires platform audits for a lot of their social media platforms. PostPulse, on the other hand, doesn't require any platform audits, and it's not something that we'll be asking for in the near future either. Let's talk about pricing. Ayrshare uses a tiered pricing plan depending on intended use. It's got a $299 launch plan, a $599 plan, and a custom enterprise plan. So it's a bit pricey, especially for someone who's looking to test out the platform and play around with it for a little bit. Imagine you're a creator or a developer. You're creating a content distribution pipeline from scratch, and you're building it on a budget. Ayrshare is clearly going to be a more expensive option. It's even far too expensive to even test it out, let alone to subscribe to every month. PostPulse, on the other hand, is way more affordable. It's got a free plan that gives you 10 free credits on sign up, a flexible pay-as-you-go plan that only charges 20 cents to publish your post, and a $5 a month plan. All for the same amount of publishing features and limits you'd get at Ayrshare, but at a far more affordable and flexible price. Imagine you're still a creator or a developer, you're still creating a content distribution pipeline from scratch, and you're still building it on a budget. PostPulse is going to be your least expensive option. You can test out your entire pipeline for as little as $1. And if you like what you see, then you can subscribe to the full $5 plan. It's extremely flexible for anyone not looking to tie themselves down to a platform before you're ready. Let's move on to third-party integrations. While both Ayrshare and PostPulse have REST APIs and remote MCP servers, that's about where the similarities end. In automation platforms like Make.com, PostPulse has its own official module. Ayrshare, on the other hand, doesn't seem to have its own official module. It seems to be a community-produced module. In fact, most Ayrshare automations on Make use the HTTP module to make API calls. On N8N, the comparisons are even more stark. PostPulse is the only one with its own node there. Ayrshare automation, like in Make, have to be made with the HTTP node. So if you're a non-technical person, Ayrshare is the least attractive one in this category. Speaking of APIs, PostPulse has more consistent API conventions than Ayrshare. In fact, PostPulse offers predictable response formats and structured error handling. Ayrshare, by contrast, has got more inconsistent response structures. So working with both platforms, APIs is also going to give you very different responses and ease of use. But from our view, PostPulse has got the edge here too. And finally, dashboard accessibility. While Ayrshare isn't complex, its dashboard does take some getting used to. It's not bad, but you're sorely missing out on a lot of features depending on what plan you're on, which is kind of expected for tiered platforms like these. PostPulse, by contrast, has a much more accessible and easy-to-follow dashboard, complete with the ability to find previous posts and schedule them intuitively, either from the dashboard or from a third-party integration. The best part, these features are open to you no matter what plan you're on, so you're not restricted by pricing tiers. So to summarize, PostPulse and Ayrshare both support a variety of social media platforms, integrate into webhooks and MCP servers, and offer similar platform features. However, PostPulse wins out on pricing, third-party integrations, REST API conventions, and dashboard accessibility. We hope you've enjoyed today's video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.